ففروا إلى الله إني لكم منه نذير مبين ولا تجعلوا مع الله إلها آخر إني لكم منه نذير مبين.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. In continuation of our topic, managing an epidemic and a pandemic, we are precisely talking about how we're going to manage COVID-19, also known as coronavirus infection. I've already discussed the signs and symptoms. For somebody that has already had it, the signs and symptoms they are going to present with. For example, the person that is having COVID-19 may present with fever, they may present with cough, they may present with chest pain, difficulty in breathing, and they may progress to some of the complications, like they can have pneumonia. Apart from pneumonia, they can also have acute respiratory syndrome and may as well lead to death. And I need to buttress here that everybody is at risk. Nobody is immune to COVID-19 or coronavirus disease. But some people, they can be affected more than the other. What do I mean by that? For people that are undergoing, some people that are on medications like chemotherapy, cancer curing drugs, some people, there are those people that are immunosuppressed, that the immune system is down, and people that have HIV, for example, or people that have diabetes, they can experience severe symptoms than somebody that doesn't have any other comorbidity or doesn't have any other medical condition beforehand. Now, if you now have it, because I'm going to separate the management into two. For example, for somebody that just had an exposure, as in, what do I mean by that? Exposure means you've come in contact with somebody that has COVID-19 infection. How do you go about it? We ask that kind of a person to undergo what we call self-isolation. And when we are in self-isolation, there are some things that we need to understand so that we'll be able to do it effectively. By not doing it effectively, we are as well exposing other people to the infection. And when we are on self-isolation, what do I mean? It means we are trying to separate ourselves because we have been exposed to somebody that has that infection, and we don't want to infect other people. So when we are on self-isolation, we look for a conducive place to stay, somewhere that we know that will not be moving up and down. We're going to be there all alone. And when we're going to do that, there are some things that we need to put in place. The first thing that we need to do is to prepare ourselves psychologically. We need to prepare ourselves psychologically because a lot of us, we are used to meeting a lot of people on a daily basis. We're used to chatting, making friends, so, and by the time we are on self-isolation, all these things is going to be reduced because we're going to be in a place or in an apartment, only us, without mixing with other people very close to us. So we're going to do it in the house. We need to prepare ourselves psychologically. And apart from that, we need to have a timetable of how we're going to run our daily activities so that we'll not be bored and we are not going to be depressed. By the time we have our timetable, for us Muslims, alhamdulillah, we can as well use our daily salawats to prepare our timetable. By the time I wake up in the morning after Salatul Subhi, what am I going to do? You put it down, Zuhr, Asri, and so on and so forth. And for some of us that have small children at home, we need to prepare them as well. We need to get carer for them so that at the same time when we are undergoing quarantine, we are not going to get them exposed at the same time. So, and we need to explain to them because they'll be worried too. Mommy, what is happening? Where are you going to? Or Daddy, what is it? What is the problem? Where are you keeping yourself somewhere and you don't want to mingle with everybody? Everything has to be explained to them and they need to understand it. And alhamdulillah, for this precious month of Ramadan, it is an opportunity for us because by the time we are doing that, it's an opportunity for us to move closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We read our Quran, we do our askar, we can even do more than we even planned for, or maybe more than we've even done in our lifetime. So it's an opportunity for us to do that. So by the time we are in self-quarantine or isolation, we're going to keep away from people as much as possible. By being in self-quarantine is not an opportunity for us to be moving about and mixing with people. By the time we go about and mix with people, we're going to get much more people exposed, and we're going to keep the infection. We're going to keep spreading the infection or transmitting the infection from one person to the other, and we're not going to come down with the infection as soon as we plan to. Another thing we can do is that we can do what we call personal hygiene by washing our hands frequently. This one is very, very important, because by the time we deal with people, there's no how you are not going to hand something over. You may collect money from them, they can give you an object. By the time you collect anything from anybody, make sure you wash your hand as much as possible. Before you eat, wash your hands. It's even among the teachings of Prophet that the first thing you do when you even wake up in the morning is to wash your hands properly before you touch anything. So in this era of COVID-19, the habit of washing hands should be part of a Muslim. Even when we make ablution on a daily basis, there's no how you can start ablution without washing your hands. That shows the importance of hand washing in the life of a Muslim. So when you wash your hands, you can use soap and water to wash your hands, because this one is easily available. But in case soap and water is not easily available, we can as well have what we call alcohol hand rub, also known as hand sanitizer. This one is very, very handy. We can as well keep it in our pockets. We can use it. If we have it, you can make in excess, distribute it to people that are in need of it, so that is also going to be beneficial to them.
وأنفقوا في سبيل الله ولا تلقوا بأيديكم إلى التهلكة وأحسنوا إن الله يحب المحسنين.
Other things we can as well do is that we can, for those people that have now been tested, they've been tested and they now realize they have the disease in question, they will be taken to an isolated area where they will be treated. And by the time they're treated and they do tests, by the time they have 2 negative tests, mostly they do discharge them home and they continue to live their normal life. Apart from this one, other things that we can do, for example, in some states in Nigeria now, we have some states undergoing lockdown. The essence of having a lockdown is to break the transmission of COVID-19. By the time we are in lockdown, it is an opportunity for us to be at home with our family members. It is an opportunity for us not to be attending social events, not to be mixing with people, not to get congested in an area with more than 20 to 50 people. By the time we do this, we are breaking the transmission of COVID-19 as well. Another thing that we can do, for example, as part of the Lagos State Plan, is they do what they call active surveillance. And by doing active surveillance, they go into the community, they go from one house to the other, they also go to public health facilities as well as private health facilities. And by the time they get there, they are searching for cases that present like COVID symptoms. And by the time they see this, they are going to follow them up, and if there is anyone that eventually develops the disease, they send them to the appropriate quarters. For example, the first day that Lagos State did their own active case search, 118 households were screened. At the end of the day, 119 people had COVID-like symptoms, and out of which some of them still test positive to these diseases, and they've been taken care of. In continuation to what I'm saying is that, like I said, everybody is at risk, and for the vulnerable, they need to avoid gatherings as much as possible. They need to take care of their family members, and they need to protect themselves. Another strategy that we can put in place, because those people that have the disease, they might not present with symptoms, and we call them asymptomatic patients. These asymptomatic patients, they are the most deadly. What do I mean by this? Because when they have the disease, they will keep doing their daily activities. They keep moving from one place to the other, and by so doing, they are spreading the infection from one person to the other. And by spreading the infection, they keep the number of cases that we have, they keep them on the high, and it's not good. By doing this, they are complicating the matter they're not going to help us in any way. So these asymptomatic patients, they are very deadly in our community, and we need to try as much as possible if we have the opportunity, because a lot of local governments now, they are doing voluntary testing. So we can as well go to any local government health facility closer to where we live, and they are going to do testing for us. So anybody that is tested positive, they will cancel them and they will ask them to go to appropriate quarters where they will be taken care of. Another thing that we should do with this lockdown is that we should try as much as possible not to jeopardize the efforts of the government in trying to safeguard everybody in the state. What do I mean? Because when they said lockdown, they said we should stop moving about. We still see a lot of people moving about, going through their daily activities as if nothing is happening. By doing this, we are jeopardizing the efforts of the government, and nobody is going to benefit from it. Instead, by the time this disease skyrockets, everybody will be overwhelmed. All the healthcare workers, they are going to get overwhelmed, and at the end of the day, everybody will be affected. The economy will be affected, the community will be affected, the woman will be affected. And I will use this opportunity to tell us that even in the time of our predecessors, like Umar radiallahu anhu, there was a particular incident that happened during his regime. He was moving with some of the companions, and they were moving to a particular town. But when they were on their way, they realized that there is a plague that broke up in that place. And some of the companions, they were like, okay, what should they do? Umar now sought their advice. So what should they do? Should they continue on their journey to enter the town, or they should go back to where they are coming from? But one of the companions was intelligent enough to advise that during the life of the prophet, he said that when there is a plague or an outbreak somewhere, if you are in that state, you don't leave that state. But if you are going inside that state, you should go back to where they are coming from. And that was exactly what Umar did. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep every one of us safe and save us from deadly diseases, infectious diseases.
That is for Deen al-Islam, religion with Allah since time began. That is for dhikr, remembering Allah, and Ra is for the month of Ramadan. Oh, Ramadan. That is for zakah, to cure our greed, when we give our money to those in need. Sa is for salamun alaykum, peace be with you, wa alaykum as-salam.